everybody, it's Christine. It is time for a Scraplift Crafternoon. And I have a furry visitor that I cannot decide, do I need to pick this cat up and move her or not? I'm going to have to when I start crafting, but this little booger. Anyways, let me show you the layout. It is by Heather Leopard. I will have a link below because she does have a video. I believe this is her Instagram. I actually think this might be a couple of years old at this point. I came across her video. We were looking for like 4th of July type, layouts. Although I don't know if everybody's doing 4th of July, just because there was some folks kind of going, well, I don't know if I want to be that cheesy, but on the other hand, it is kind of fun to be cheesy. So we'll see. I'm not going to worry. I'm a little bit worried because she has like this star, and I think she used a cut file, like a, cutting machine. I don't have a cutting machine. So I'm kind of imagining how I'm going to accomplish this look here, which is really neat. It's like these layered, again, she has like 3 like maybe outline stars and then kind of an actual like filled in star, solid star. But my favorite part is this swoosh looking thing, which I think is neat. It's just neat. And then of course she's got little stars all over. Now what I have here, sorry, let me move the cat for just a second. I just have a little picture here. Hers is a little wider, I think, but that's okay. It's just a little selfie we took. We used to go to the soccer game every 4th of July at FC Dallas. This little friend of ours, she's a sweetheart. That's my daughter, and then half my face here. And I thought that was cute. Again, we used to go all the time. It hadn't been last several years. Basically, the girls, had gone off to college, graduated college. It's just harder to get us all together. So, haven't been, although I kind of would love to do that again. And then I have all of my, like, 4th of July stuff is in my little pack here. So I haven't sorted through this, but you can kind of see I have, red, white, and blue, type stuff here. All this kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to pull out some stuff to figure out these stars. And then of course there's this, this cat. There's all these stickers on this Bella Boulevard sticker sheet. And I may even have some more, frankly, over in I have a little scrap rack over here that has some seasonal stuff. So I need to get into that. Let me start figuring out the papers and figuring out how I'm going to do this stars cutout. That's the only thing that kind of worries me just a little bit. Oh, I will show you this. I do have this really cool paper in here. I did see it a minute ago that has basically all stars that I can just fussy cut. Where did I see that, y'all? Oh, here it is. I really like this. So I can fussy cut these stars. And I actually have, that's not it. It's the back side of this one, and I have actually the small part of this I also kept, so I may use that some kind of way with the swooshes, maybe. Anyways, my biggest challenge I think is the stars, so I will figure that part out, and we'll come back on. Talk soon, and I'll have the cat moved too. Okay, guys, quick check-in. I have moved the cat. And so what I also went off and did is I went to I got suggested this one other time when I was actually struggling with hexagons. They're like, hey, just print it off the internet, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, that's clever. So I decided this time to do the same. So I print off 2 of these stars because what I'm going to do is lay these on top of the paper. And then I think I'm going to end up using it twice. One of these stars like twice. One's to cut out, the main one. And then I'll come back in somehow and cut these ones and create the little hollow stars. The papers I picked out are, I showed you this, and I'm definitely going to use this for the little stars kind of over the page. And I have the white cardstock background, and then I have these, 3 papers here. I think this is going to work. I'm a little bit worried about the blue because I think it's a little dark, but I think once I've cut it into a hollow star, it's not going to really look that weirdly different. So I think that's okay. And then I've got this solid here that looks kind of pretty with that I can cut into a hollow star. So I'm kind of imagining this might be the pattern that's the solid one. And then these are going to be like the hollow ones. So anyway, that is where and I've got this extra because I know I'm going to have to at least one more. And I can always print one more if I need it. Oh my God, there's that cat again. Look at this, y'all. She can't get out of my business. Anyways, I'm going to start cutting these stars and we'll come back on. Talk soon. So y'all, I'm sitting here doing this voiceover. It has now been a number of hours since I started this layout because I do have to stop and do work. So it's been a number of hours, and yet as I'm sitting here doing this voiceover, this cat has still got her face in my face. She's so needy today. So I started off, I took the printed off stars here, and I washi taped them to the pattern paper that I wanted to use. And my initial thought was I'll use my little blade cutter here, my little We Are Memory Keepers deal. And I thought, because that'll keep it really sharp, and, it'll be clean lines, etc., etc. And then y'all, I don't know. I struggle with it. I could get the paper in there. I might should have trimmed it down, honestly, and it would have worked a little bit better. But I finally give up about halfway through because my other tricky part is I can't flip it over because then I couldn't see the star. So I thought, well, okay. So I used the trimmer for the first little bit, and then I just used my scissors to do basically the other half of the points that I had already pre-cut. And I actually think this turned out pretty good right here. And then what I'm going to end up doing is taking an X-Acto knife, or I call them X-Acto knives. I don't even know what they're called anymore. I've got different brands of these things, but you know what I mean. One of those little blades that you push out and it's got a real sharp point and stuff on it. And I'm going to end up using that on top of a little cutting mat here to trim out the middle piece. Now, I take it back. That right there, that little blue with the starburst looking pattern, that's going to be that solid star that she had on her layout. She had like a grid pattern with a stripe almost, but I'm going to use that as my solid, inner piece. And then this is where I'm going to start just using an X-Acto knife to cut out the innards of this star so it's going to be like hollow, if that makes sense. So I do the insides first. I don't really know why I do that, but then I use the scissors to cut the outs. And so I've got my stars are now cut. I'm not going to lie. That took me a while, y'all. So I had to cut that out because y'all would have been sat there all day watching that. It did take me a while. It probably took me 30 minutes to cut those out just because I was trying to be a little bit particular with it. Now here's where I'm just kind of making a whoosh. I don't have a pattern or anything, so I'm just kind of drawing on a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. And I'm thinking, okay, and it's kind of looking, in a sense, I don't mind because it's a whoosh. Hers had actually some stitching down the middle of each of the little paper or the little stripes. So I get the sense it's not meant to be real clean, straight line type stuff. I mean, it's okay that it's a little bit wonky, if that makes sense. So I did just use my pencil and I drew just a whoosh. And my thinking is I'm going to cut this out to kind of make my template. And then I'm going to put it on top of each of my 3 patterns as a full stripe or as a full whoosh. And then I don't show you this just because it took me a little while, but what I end up doing is coming in, I'll kind of staple the ends together, and then I'll end up using my little pencil lines there to cut each individual piece. So you'll see that in a minute once I've cut all that, but I just basically hand cut these, y'all. There's no science to it or anything like that. I just hand cut these things using this little old template. And this is the end of it, right? So I've done all 3 pieces as the full piece. So now you can see I have the same, again, it's not perfect, but it's the same basic shape for each of those 3 pieces. And then my idea here is I staple that end together, and then I'm going to cut along those little pencil lines in there. And I'm going to make the 3 different pieces. I mean, ultimately, if I had wanted to, I could have made 3 different whooshes, I guess is the point. Now, the inspiration layout did have mixed media. She had, I'm sorry, I've watched the video, but now I'm trying to remember exactly how she did it. I know she had like sprinkles all behind there, right? So I pulled out 2 of my Lindy stamp gangs. I have one is the Danny Zuko's blue jeans, and then and that has no sparkle in it. It's just kind of a regular splatter. And then the other one I pulled out was from my little mermaid collection that's Lindy stamp gang. It does have sparkle in it. So I did one little I did one splatter of the Danny Zuko no sparkles, and then I did a splatter of the sparkles. And then I had recently, somebody had gave me a nice little tip on the YouTube comment that said, hey, if you want a bigger splatter, just squeeze the brush. And I thought, I'm going to do that. So I did that this time, and I think it looks lovely. I love it. You can see there's a shimmer in the middle of that blue when it dries. I think I show you my finger, or maybe I cut it out. There it is. I got ink all over my fingers. Okay, so now my mixed media is dry, and I'm looking at my picture, and I'm going to mat it. Now, I have no piece of paper that's really quite large enough. Oh, yeah, that's a lie. My blue's kind of large enough, almost, to mat the picture wholly. So I'm going to kind of do this offset layers, if that makes sense, where I've got, like, the one is like the flags, and then I have this chevron stripe here. Is that a chevron stripe? Yeah, I guess it's a chevron stripe. Chevron stripe makes up the other half of the little mat, and then I'm going to use this blue, and I get most of it matted, and I end up covering up the one piece that's not all the way, but my idea here was to use this blue as the kind of full photo mat, and again, I just have to kind of make it work with that little spot right there that doesn't go all the way to the edge. I could have pieced it, but because the sketch actually has a tag behind that little section of the photo, I'm going to make it work with something else. So I've got my picture now matted. I got my stars kind of figured there. I don't know if I've glued those down. I think I've glued them a little bit. It took me, no, I haven't either. I'm just holding them there. This took me a second. I'm like, okay, Christine, how do you glue this down? That messing all your stars up. So it took me just a second. I'm going to cut over. You don't need to sit here and watch me use Nuvo glue on gluing all these stars down. And that is, I did use mostly Nuvo glue here, y'all. I used my ATG on the back of like the star when I put it down. And on when I did my picture and, you know, matted it, and then I will put some foam behind it in a minute. I'll use my ATG there. But all these other little pieces, I actually use Nuvo glue because in my mind, I wanted to be able to kind of shift them if I needed to. And, you know, Nuvo glue is not, you know, it doesn't stick like permanent, like right away. You have just a few, you know, seconds or whatever if you want to shift it here and there and everywhere. So I went ahead and used my Nuvo glue on these pieces here. And I think this looks kind of neat. I didn't scuff it. I didn't even mark it with a marker or anything like that because I kind of do like this like hand-cut look of this whoosh here. I think it looks kind of neat. And now I've got my star. You can see that's all kind of layered up there. I really love that, y'all. I'm not going to lie. I love those 3 little hollow stars on top of that solid star. I think that it's just so visually interesting. I really appreciated that about the inspiration layout, and I was kind of happy to recreate it here. And so I got my photo in the spot where she had her photo. And I'm looking, I had fussy cut these stars here from that paper I showed you. That was really kind of, that was a good little trick there. It was plenty to choose from, little designs. You know, you kind of got different, you got the, I don't know what you call that, alternating colored stars, and you got the little sparkles in some, and then there's some little different, and it worked perfectly, and it went really well with the, again, the inspiration layout. It worked perfectly. So I glued those down, and now I'm looking here. This is where the tag was on the sketch. And there was this sticker on this Bella Boulevard collection. It was some kind of 4th of July collection. And I thought, okay, that looks pretty cute. It's not a tag, but it'll work. And I'll end up finding a, what are those called? It's like a tag label thingy. I'll put that there too because I want to cover up that, again, I don't want that little triangle of missing paper to show. So I'll make that work. As I mentioned, this picture was when we went to FC Dallas. It was probably, oh, y'all, it was 2016 or 2017. I could find it on my phone. And we used to go every year, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Some years it was hot. I mean, we really the first year we ever went, we got seats in the cheap spot, which is at the end of one of the. It's kind of opposite the stage because there's like a stage if you want to have music things or something like that. And we got that, but that was right in the sun, y'all, and that was so freaking hot. And then I think one year we got it on a particular side, and we realized, oh God, that's where the sun is the whole time. We got smart. Took us a couple of years, but we realized, okay, this is the side we need our tickets on always. Now, granted, they were the more expensive ones because everybody knew better. But, you know, it's okay. We always had a really good time. They always had fireworks for sure at the end in the nighttime. And I feel like they also had like flyovers, you know, jet flyovers and things like that. It was just really cool. And they usually had like veterans and stuff come at halftime. It was always a good experience. We enjoyed it. And we usually had, oh my goodness, I think it was it Blue Goose? That's what it was. We had Blue Goose Mexican food right before the game every time too. It was a great tradition. We had a great time. It was a family friend. The daughter was on my daughter's soccer team for years. She was goalie, and we had a really good time with those guys. So anyway, so I have glued all my stars down. I've glued basically all my pieces down now, and then I trimmed off the little stars that were hanging over. And I'm just going through and giving it little touch-ups here, right? Because I got little pieces kind of hanging out and flopping up and stuff like that. And I want to make sure nothing gets caught on anything when I go to stick it in the album. I can't sit here and swear to you I got every edge glued down, but I think I got the main ones. I look at the sticker sheet, and I think she really didn't have on the inspiration a little title, but this one here had July 4th in these little banner pieces. And I thought, you know what, that'll work just fine. I don't need to have a giant title. This looks really cute. My picture's a little bit bigger, so we're just going to go with this. So I just put July 4th as this little banner stickers. It worked out really well. And then I look here, and I also noticed there's these little words. And so I pulled these little words. And she didn't technically have anything like that, but ours had like traditions and friends and I think celebrate or something like that. And I thought that looked kind of cute over the top of the stars. Again, that's a little bit of a deviation from the original layout, but I thought it looked kind of cute. And so I'm kind of looking again at the sticker sheet. I don't actually think I find anything else. I think I was looking for, I know what I was looking for. I was looking for FC Dallas. I'm trying to spell FC Dallas, and I was looking at those red letters. I didn't have an F. I didn't have I think it was C or something. I just didn't have enough of the letters. I'm looking at it just to make sure. Am I crazy, or do I have the letters? No, you don't have the letters. Because then I thought, maybe I could spell something else. No, nothing was going to work. So I ran over and got this little set of thickers. And this was easily spelled out. Now, I started with FC on the left-hand side because I wasn't sure Dallas was going to fit where she had it on her original layout, where she had stars and stripes. And I thought, is Dallas going to fit where the word stripes was? And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try it. And spoiler alert, it does fit. I was actually pretty excited. I was able to spell out Dallas. So I'm going to end up moving the F and the C. I'm going to put those over kind of where she had, well, not kind of, is where she had stars and stripes. So she had stars on the other little point there, and I'm going to end up moving that, my FC, over to there. And I really like how that turned out, actually. I think that looks kind of neat. Thought about adding something to the front of it because FC's just kind of hanging out there by itself, but I don't think I will. I think I'll leave it alone. And then I think to myself, okay, you got your stars there, but now you need some little stars. I want some little sparkle stuffs. So I go look in, and I'm in my enamel box right now, my enamel dot box, rather. I have that black thing that I have all my little enamel dot things. And I start to pull out these little stars, and then I happen to notice these kind of real pale blue stars on this other little enamel dot things there. So I decide, no, I'm going to put those down. And so I put these down, and then I decide, well, you'll see it in just a second. I'm going to put these down first. I'm just kind of, again, on hers, she had, just kind of little random sprinkles, of little stars and things. So I'm doing basically the same thing. And again, I'm just recreating her layout, if I'm honest with y'all. I mean, is this a Scraplift? Yeah, it's a Scraplift because, of course, it's my stuff. But it's basically a copycat because it was just so cute. I loved it. So I'm not going to take credit really for any of this, y'all. You definitely need to go check out her video because it's really pretty. But anyway, so I'm putting down the red sparkles now. I decided I want red sparkles. And then I come back to that original little pack of stars. And there's kind of these like clear, it's not clear. They're like a really, really, really pale yellow. And you wouldn't think that would necessarily go, but there is like a yellow inside that starburst kind of pattern. So it's okay. It works out. So I just kind of sprinkle those throughout as well. And then that's all I'm going to do this layout, y'all. I think it's stunning. I really liked hers. I was really excited the group picked it, or, we voted and everybody had their opinion, but they picked it. So I was really excited about it. There's the slowdown. Please make sure you check out everybody else's links below too. You're going to have at least 3 or 4 other ladies making their interpretation of this layout. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I am aiming to get those 1,000 subscribers, and I would really appreciate it. We will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.